Coming up on the show, revolutionizing rice production in the country. We take a look at how Trukai Industries is embarking on a program to increase rice production in the country.
It's important for Papua New Guinea as a nation to develop certain agricultural industries beyond the current portfolio.
Good evening, I'm Leanne Gerari. Welcome to Business PNG, your weekly look at business news and updates. NEC has allocated close to 700 million kina for road projects in the nation's capital. There could be no better time than this, especially when the country, particularly Port Moresby, is gearing up towards hosting the 2015 Pacific Games. Part of this 700 million kina goes towards the ambitious Kookaburra flyover project. While the actual flyover is just a small part of it, this project will directly connect the airport to Waigani. The project is the first of its kind for Papua New Guinea and will be constructed by New Zealand firm Hawkins Constructions. This time next year, the Port Moresby landscape will be unrecognizable as major changes in infrastructure are set to make over the city's constantly changing face. 6 new road projects have been planned for the nation's capital. This is after a decision was made by the National Executive Council to allocate a budget of more than 700 million kina on the projects. From this allocation, 400 million kina will come from the national budget, while 300 million kina will be a soft loan from the Exim Bank of China. The projects, to name a few, are the 4-lane 10.7-kilometer divided road from Gerahu to Hanuabara, a 4.3-kilometer road with a 4-lane bridge constructed by Dekanai Construction from Erima to 9 Mile. Continuing upgrade of the Gordons Industrial Road Stage 2 to be carried out by Global Construction, and finally the Kookaburra Road project. The Kookaburra flyover and road project is the most prolific of the projects and will connect the Jacksons Airport with the suburb of Waigani, from the Sir John Guy's Drive to the Hubert Murray Highway with a flyover at the Erima Junction. This project, a first for Papua New Guinea, will be built by New Zealand company Hawkins Construction.
The value of the contract is roughly 160 million kina, including GST. It starts off at roughly the airport roundabout at Jackson's Airport and runs directly through and over the Erima roundabout and eventually connects in with the Sir John Guy's roundabout. So essentially 2 to 3 suburbs, if you include 7 Mile. And the existing infrastructure that's going to be utilised will be some parts, but it's a full new roadway, 4-lane road from the airport roundabout through to Sir John Guy's Drive. 600 metres of that will be elevated, and most of that's precast concrete. And there'll be a 2-lane undercarriage, which is a road on grade. That'll be for that 600 metres, and it'll stop at the Erima roundabout and then go through to the airport as well.
Initial site clearance has already begun, along with establishment of the Hawkins makeshift offices on site. Upon completion, the Kookaburra Road and Flyover project is expected to improve traffic congestions and reduce travelling times, especially when the country is gearing up for next year's Pacific Games.
Target date at this stage is just before the South Pacific Games, which is July next year, and we're currently reviewing the program to see where we can bring that timeline back. But in terms of public, our handover will be basically just before the South Pacific Games.
Businesses in the vicinity of the project will also benefit significantly upon completion of the project. One such is the Jackson's Domestic and International Airport, as the flyover and carriageway will be a vital conduit from the airport to Waigani. The National Airports Corporation, the state aviation enterprise, has major plans underway that will coincide with the Kookaburra project.
The main purpose of that development that is happening is actually so that we can improve the service levels. When our people come through from neighboring similar airports throughout the region, usually the service is not as in sync with our regional neighbors. So we want to be able to improve that, improve our efficiency and all that. So yes, we do have our plans for improvement on our airport infrastructure. The first one is that's happening, the extension of the international terminal. The second phase is actually a bigger program in terms of an infill connecting to 2 terminal buildings with a tray-level building with a elevated road in front.
Once construction for the aptly named airport city is complete, NAC hopes it will place Port Moresby's airport on a world standard, attracting major airlines to fly into the country, such as global leading commercial airlines Emirates and Singapore Airlines. Amongst the positive publicity the project has received, there has also been quite a lot of negative publicity generated, mainly surrounding land ownership and fair compensation. One such case is that of Wilson Tan, a landlord whose property has been demolished to make room for the project. According to Mr. Tan, his property of dual two-bedroom houses were valued at 5 million kina. However, the state only offered him 1.5 million.
My valuation here, which I have done with the registered company, is it's about it's 5.6 million, and the government has offered, Lands Department has offered me 1.6 million. Just based on whatever is here. But then they've got to look at my business loss. Business loss, I've got 46 years lease, which I have 18,000 income per month. And I need the government to look at that one and reconsider that one and assess it probably because it is not my interest. It's the interest of the government.
Mr. Tan is the third landlord in Erima to take his disagreement to court due to alleged unfair compensation. The project is expected to be completed before the 2015 Pacific Games and the 2018 APAC meeting, both to be held in Port Moresby. The International Standard flyover will become an iconic feature of Port Moresby, symbolizing PNG's fast-growing economy. There's no doubt that Papua New Guineans love their rice. The 200-year association with the grain crop began when early missionaries arrived in the 1800s. While it has maintained its dominance on dinner mats all over the country, it has not been a popular crop for subsistent farmers. This is largely because of the amount of labor involved in getting rice from the paddy to plate. That's about to change, at least according to rice company Trukai Industries, which has embarked on a program to increase rice production in Papua New Guinea. This report from Scott Waide at our Lay Bureau.
In a space of a year, rice company Trukai Industries has made a significant shift in how it does business. After 40 years, Trukai is now focusing on building an army of local rice producers. Trukai's multi-pronged approach centers around farmers in the Markham Valley and their farms at Erap. Some of this land used for cattle grazing has been turned into rice paddies for seed production. It's part of what they hope will become a nationwide trial to select the best varieties of rice suited to Papua New Guinea conditions.
The company has tried to assist the government in its rice policy development for the last 20 years. A lot of that has been focused on limited support, especially on seed production and doing farmer training. Now that's about last 18 to 20 years now. In the current project, we are stepping up, the company is stepping up that support for farmers in the country. And we have, in the last 12 months, a lot of resources have been put into developing the rice industry.
Trukai is working with the National Agriculture Research Institute and the University of Technology to trial 36 highland and lowland varieties of rice. Because of Papua New Guinea's varied climate, some varieties have failed to yield the desired results.
36 varieties and good problem testing. Nar environment Papua New Guinea. You saw Papua New Guinea got kain, some mountain, some flat, some swamp, some dry place.
What Papua Trukai and is doing with the Unitech and in collaboration with NARI is to bring the diversity or different rice varieties to evaluate them for PNG conditions. So it's very good because we need diversity for sustainability of rice production.
While great strides have been made, all this is still work in progress with an enormous amount of financial risk associated with it.
So the capital outlay to begin with in the banking rice paddies is going to be significant. Then you've got the irrigation equipment required in terms of the pumping of the water. What is the source of the water to produce those those irrigated sites? It does rely on the variability of the rainfall factors and the seasonality that we have here in this country. The other significant challenges are the available infrastructure, which, whilst there are certain areas in Papua New Guinea where rice is a suitable crop to be propagated, you have got the limitations of infrastructure. There's no point in setting up a commercial project if you haven't got road access, you haven't got port access, you haven't got all the things that we need there to get the rice out of the ground and get it into our mill here in Lae.
Not many people know that rice has been grown in the Morobe province for over 100 years. The crop introduced by German missionaries in the 1800s in Finschhafen. While Papua New Guineans are among the largest group of rice consumers in the Pacific, very little is grown in the country. We import between 150 and 200 metric tons of rice every year. Despite its relatively long history, rice growing has never developed into a thriving farmer-driven industry.
Nobody knows exactly why, but we suspect or we understand that there are certain things that contribute to that one. One is rice has to go through a different process before it's cooked, not like banana or sweet potato, you just harvest, peel and cook. Rice, when you harvest, dress, drying, and then winnowing, and then it goes to milling. So this is the long process that involves, and that may involve mechanization, inputs of other things to this process to happen. So that may be one. The other is the cultivation technique and practice, the knowledge of the farmer itself. It will require some time to teach people to grow because culturally or naturally, Papua New Guineans or the people of the tropics or this part of Asia Pacific, we are root and tuber crop producers. And these grains are from Asia origin, and it's introduced one. So the knowledge of cultivating is maybe another problem.
A lot of expertise and experiences are being drawn from Trukai's parent company in Australia, Sunrise. Ideally, Trukai wants to increase local production to a scale where rice can be bought within Papua New Guinea and blended in Lae for local consumption. But finding varieties that produce the desired results in terms of yield, survival and taste is key to the success of this project.
Trukai did have a program in place some 10 or 15 years ago. It wasn't a large-scale purchasing program, but it is something that we're actually looking forward to going forward to actually re-implement now. Now that will come in the form of the offer to buy rice in minimum quantities from farmers in certain locations on certain quality standards at global rated pricing. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the establishment of commercial rice projects in Central Province and West New Britain as two starting points where we will actually produce some large-scale rice crops in conjunction with the local government and local people and so forth. And then through the process of pest mitigation, weed mitigation, milling on site and those sorts of things, we will establish a price that we will pay for the rice, and that will then obviously generate income for them.
A lot of things are changing, and part of that is it's all in line with what the government is doing in terms of trying to encourage farmers to grow rice in the country. And that's part of the reason that we are increasing our resources to grow rice in the country.
A few kilometers from the Erap farm, a Markham villager is already trialling a new rice variety on several hectares of land. Former security guard Paul Levy planted this rice paddy as part of an effort to assist members of a local cooperative.
Long December, we start fly more ground here. Na January na we plan him this.
He plans to gradually increase production so he has a steady flow of income.
As one project as we come from Taiwan, only give one project TTS 10. Na we plan him this pala. Na habek milari mi by me plan him long hapken.
Paul Levy's initiative fits into Trukai's vision of a network of local farmers. But Trukai says it wants the relationship between rice farmers and the company to evolve naturally.
We've had some rice growing opportunities in the past, but we have now believe we're at a stage where we need to now move forward and take the learnings of those last 20 years and actually establish some commercial rice growing projects in Papua New Guinea from which we can now aim to source our rice locally.
Before we leave, the government and other stakeholders involved in the LNG project have been cautioned by the Bank of Papua New Guinea not to have high expectations of windfall revenue inflows in the first year of production. The governor of Bank of Papua New Guinea, Loy Bakani, issued this warning in the bank's quarterly economic bulletin for December quarter 2013. He said while it was good news that the LNG production will commence ahead of schedule, most likely before June, the governor has cautioned the government, including all stakeholders, not to have high expectations from the revenue from the sale of gas. According to Mr. Bakani, the completion of the construction phase of the LNG project, the government should coordinate its efforts and prioritize towards utilizing the labor and capital that are released from the project. In addition, the government should continue to develop the agriculture sector and invest in vital infrastructure projects in order to enhance the productive capacity of the economy. Meanwhile, LNG developer ExxonMobil, PNG Limited, announced last week that the US $19 billion gas project was ahead of schedule, with first shipment of LNG to the Asian markets in the coming weeks. The LNG is expected to produce more than 9 trillion feet of gas. The National Information Communication Technology Authority has welcomed the inclusion of the fourth mobile phone operator, AWAL Telecommunications Limited, into the country. NICTA said the introduction of competition will transform the country in terms of growth of the national economy and getting more people connected. The information technology regulator said competition encourages service efficiency and affordability. AWAL Telecommunications is a Dubai-based multinational firm and has a diversified business portfolio operating in 26 countries from Africa to the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Their services include mobile operation, gateway operation, BTS ownership, and leasing, including broadcasting services. Papua New Guinea's mobile phone market is not as broad as other developed countries, and this, coupled with the challenging terrains in PNG, makes it difficult to build telecommunication infrastructure, thus deterring new operators from entering the market. NICTA stated that PNG still has a long way to go and more work needs to be in growing and regulating the industry. However, this is a step forward. Former treasurer and leader of Triumph Heritage Empowerment Party, Don Pollier, will continue to boycott Parliament session until the Speaker allocates him a seat in the middle benches. The PNC party under Prime Minister Peter O'Neill made the decision on Monday night's caucus meeting to sit Pollier behind opposition leader Belden Nama in opposition as part of the overall government disciplinary process to maintain stability and give confidence to the Prime Minister to rule the country. Pollier called a media conference last Wednesday alongside Ijivitari MP David Arore and Rai Coast MP James Gao, claiming that the move is illegal, not allowed by law, and is an abuse of power by the Prime Minister and the PNC as a party. Pollier said the PNC does not determine where a party is seated in Parliament. He said he has written to the Speaker expressing his views that he will not attend Parliament session until he and that party is seated in the middle benches. Leader of Government Business and Finance Minister James Marape, in response, said the move to have Pollier in the opposition was sanctioned by the PNC party, where in the opposition his seat is for the opposition leader and Speaker to decide. PNC is moving an individual out because of his conduct, statements and outbursts against the government, so he is now removed. New Britain Palm Oil Limited, one of the world's largest fully integrated producers of sustainable palm oil, last week announced its first quarter report and trading update for the period from the 1st of January 2014 to the 31st of March 2014. the group's Chief Executive Officer, Nick Thompson, stated that the group's profit in the first quarter was $32.4 million, an increase of over 150% from the same period last year, reflecting higher production at better extraction rates, higher selling prices achieved, and lower costs of production, a very pleasing result during the typical monsoon season at their operation sites. 137,031 tons of crude palm oil was produced, approximately 12.5% higher than the same period last year. The higher volume shipped at higher average selling prices, together with a lower PNG Kina US dollars exchange rate and the cost-saving measures implemented in the previous year, have resulted in improved gross margins and improved profitability when compared to the same period last year. On the 25th of April 2014, the company paid a gross final dividend for 2013 of US $5 per share to shareholders listed on the PNG registers on the 28th of March 2014. Overall, the group continues to trade in line with the board's expectations, and the board remains confident of reporting further progress in the year ahead. And we've come to the end of our show. For more business news, or if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online. That's mtv.com.pg/business. Don't forget to connect with us using our Facebook or our Twitter page. Until next week, have a pleasant evening. I'm Leon Jarari, and this is Business PNG.